Have you ever driven past an exit you've never taken before? The kind that doesn't show up on your GPS. No lights, no signs, just black asphalt, vanishing into the dark. Well, that's what this story is. A dark road that leads into the mind of a 4chan user. They called him Crustanon. A man who sealed himself off inside his room for years. Stopped showering, stopped living, but decided to post on 4chan. More specifically, on R9K. If you don't know what R9K is, it's known as the Robot 9000 board. R9K was supposed to be 4chan's official relationship advice board, but nowadays it just serves as an official, I guess for lack of a better term, it'd be the neat/incel board on 4chan. And I believe Omar has already made a video on events that happened on R9K. I think it was the woman chasing video, where people from R9K would talk about how they chase women at night. Anyways, on November 12th, 2020, a 4chan user would post this on /R9K.
My face went. My sister actually found my hentai corner and bottle collection. She just told my entire family about it. What the fuck do I do now? My sister entered my room when I was on the toilet. My family normally never enters my room, and after my sister told my mom and dad, they both also went into my room when I was on toilet and saw it. I feel like dying now. My whole family knows what a fucking degenerate I am. I feel like ending myself. I can't even look into their eyes anymore. They looked at me like I'm some sort of freak.
Then another user asked the OP to explain the hentai corner. The OP then explains it.
I'm collecting empty bottles and piss bottles, and also whenever I'm done fapping to hentai, I save and collect my cum tissues and throw them in my cum pile, or hentai mountain, as I like to call it. But my family was never supposed to see any of it. They looked at me like I'm mentally ill after they saw my room. I feel so fucking bad right now. I just feel like I can't look them into their eyes anymore, after they know how much of a failure their son is.
He also adds a picture with this post, so here's the picture. Other users on the thread responded to him with disgust, and some in amazement. Also, one asks for a timestamp.
What the fuck is wrong with you, mate? No wonder your family thinks you're disgusting. This is sick. Gotta embrace it, man. Most men aren't brave enough to make a mountain of cum tissues and dub it hentai mountain. That's the kind of Chad behavior that should make you immune to normies shaming. Gotta embrace it. If you act like a bitch now, the whole thing seems pathetic. But if you stay strong and confident, you could turn it around and show an immense amount of inner strength. Up to you, bro. This is a make or break moment. Your choice. Why the fuck would you do that? Throw it out. It must smell horrible, and be full of insects by now. Nice LARP. Timestamp. Now.
OP then tells a story as to why he does this.
To give an example, many years ago, I had a girl over and she accidentally drank out of one of my piss bottles thinking it was tea. She was extremely angry and disgusted, but I just laughed it off and asked how my piss tasted. Not a single bit of weakness showing through. Acted like it was completely normal for me to have a piss bottle sitting there. Guess what? She completely changed tone, laughed as she drank it, and instantly became clingy and latched onto me. We were just about done before this point. She wasn't very interested, and I could tell. This is why I wasn't even that afraid of what might happen. It was already pretty much over for me, but that gave me the courage to pull some chat energy and not give a fuck. It's all about how you treat it. Be proud. Don't give a fuck. Rise above weak normies.
Another user in the thread realizes that OP is German. Then OP takes another picture with a timestamp. Here's the photo in case you're interested. Some anons respond to the timestamp picture with,
how does this shit not reek? Have you gotten used to the smell that you've desensitized to your own fumes? OP, I'm requesting a room tour, please.
Then OP responds with this.
My entire room reeks of shit and cum. I've been living like that for years. I'm used to it now.
More Anons join the thread and respond to the pictures with things like,
if my son was like this, I would just kick him out. You're not alone, OP. I live in absolute squander. I come in an open garbage. There's garbage on my bed, of which I haven't had my sheets changed since I got it. Every day I wake up, I am greasy for my pillows. I would post a pic, but I don't want to be recognized. OP, I have difficulties believing you live with your family with that stuff. The stench must have flooded the entire fucking house already. Besides, Jesus Christ, you get it. What kind of relationship do you have with them? How the fuck has this thing gone on for so long? That looks better than when I was at my worst. I was putting my trash into bread wrappings and stacked them in one corner whilst the piss bottles were next to them. I shat in sacks that I put in between my curtains and window so that it wouldn't stink as much. Everyone who's repulsed by this has never been a true robot.
Then OP himself responds to the Anon, requesting a room tour with this.
My room is extremely small. What you saw in the picture is basically my entire room already. In fact, it's so small that I can barely move in it.
Here's the photo he posted along with this. Some Anons keep responding to the thread with things like this.
I've reached a point in life where I don't feel disgusted by this pic, and instead feel a familiar sense of comfort. Nah, that cum tissue next to the window/sleeping area is actually just disgusting. Robot or not. I put my cum tissues into the paper bags I'd get from bakeries, which I put just next to where my head was when I slept. Didn't bother me at all. I'd also sleep with a bag of trash right next to me because I couldn't be bothered. Being a disgusting pig is nothing to be proud of. I'm a social outcast neat with no friends, and even I clean up after myself. This is true, OP. Go ask your family for help right now. OP, I hope you live alone. Are you depressed? How often does your family come to visit? Didn't you think about maybe get that shit out once a week? Or a month at the very least? Stop fapping all the goddamn time and start looking for something you want to study or create. No, I'm not talking about what others tell you to study for college. I'm asking you to find your passion and get into it. Do you like collecting bottles? Make it cleaner and nicer to look at. You like anime porn? So get started with drawing and make your own. You can even sell furry or whatever porn you make online if you get good enough.
As we can see, some Anons sympathize with OP here, feeling that they're not alone, and that others are just like them, while some others genuinely try to get OP to find help, while others just say things like to kill their family. Then, finally, one Anon says this to OP.
Hey Anon, I'm genuinely interested in the journey you took to get to this point. Mentally, that is. Or with anyone in a similar position. I feel as if I'm heading in that direction and would like to compare mindsets. I used to see piss bottles as something really disgusting, never imagining myself living in a situation like that. And then, eventually, I started doing it myself. Though my reasoning started out, and still is at this point, because I didn't feel comfortable confronting my family when I left my room. So one day, I manned up and decided to piss in one of my empty bottles. Later that night, when I was sure everyone was asleep, I emptied it out and decided to keep the bottle for future cases. It became a regular thing, pissing in that one bottle, and emptying it after a while. Though to be precise, it was like a jug, so I could actually go for a few days, filling it up. It started out with only pissing in it a little bit before emptying it out that night, to prolonging it more and more until I pretty much have to empty it the night it becomes full. I was, and still am, disgusted by that bottle. I have many others in my room. I have yet to throw away, but I wanted to only dirty one of them for this sake. Is there somewhat similar to how you started out? I believe, despite my current mindset, I could see myself eventually giving in and pissing in more of the bottles, and then maybe I'll just give up on emptying them all. After that, I could see myself slowly start to not even throw away my trash. That might then include cum rags, and before I know it, I'd be living in my own filth, just like you and many others. Compared to the mindset of people like this, do you think I really am headed in that direction?
Then the OP responds to him with this.
OP here. My life is currently not heading in any direction, and it seems like that's not changing anytime soon. That's why I stopped caring about most things, and just do nothing at all, due to lacking motivation and missing goals in my life. Why would I clean my room and waste my already last bit of non-existent energy on it? Long story short, in the end, it's mostly my depression and state of mind that's hindering me to clean my room / get my life together. You can't get motivated to do anything if you have no future to look forward to.
And this is basically where the thread ends. We get a look into the life of one robot, and how many other robots say that they empathize with him, and are in very similar situations. But this isn't where the story ends, because on February 15th, 2021, that same Anon comes back with this.
The last time I showered was at the end of 2019. Ask me anything.
Then, another Anon responds to him with,
How does your skin look? No lies. We are all Anons here. I have a second layer of green dirt above my actual skin. You can peel / scratch it off though. But it will take ages and it's disgusting.
Then he responds with,
Do you generally not move around a lot? I've only showered once every 6 months since about mid-2019, but the smell doesn't even seem to get that bad. Probably because I'm mostly sedentary. Do you get itchy or feel uncomfortable? And I guess the most obvious question is, why?
Then OP responds with this.
I haven't really left my apartment after started, not taking any showers, and no, it's not itchy. Also, I stopped showering when I stopped leaving my house, because once you don't interact with people anymore, there's no reason to wash yourself at all.
He also makes another post with a picture of his stomach, showing us how dirty his skin is.
Pick related. It's my skin after 13 months of not washing myself.
Another Anon asks OP.
Is there a reason why you don't shower?
OP tells him why he doesn't shower.
I don't leave my apartment ever. Why should I shower? I have given up on my life anyways. It just feels like a waste of energy and resources to me.
Someone else asks OP.
What could have gone this wrong in life? To not even care about basic self-care like showering. I'm really curious, Anon. Pretty much everything. I have no one but myself, and it's been like that for almost 10 years now, and my mental health is as low as it gets.
Another Anon asks him if playing video games and watching anime isn't a waste of energy and resources, and OP just says that it's all he can do. Someone tells him to just go take a shower, and that he will feel much better afterwards. OP responds with,
It's been too long, and I got used to not showering. At this point, it's way too hard for me to go back. Also, I'm not leaving my house anyway, or interacting with any people, and I don't smell myself, so I don't have any drawbacks from not showering.
By now, someone on the thread officially dubs him as Crustanon, and asks him how he's able to live like that. Not as in mentally, but physically.
How do you sustain yourself, Crustanon? Neat bucks? Do you own your own house?
More Anons on the thread are telling Crustanon to clean himself up and to clean his room since it'll help with his mental health. Crustanon now responds to the Anon asking him how he survives.
Yeah, I'm receiving neat bucks. Also, I'm living in a cheap, commie block apartment in East Germany, Berlin. Poorest part of this country. So I just order food for cheap from my local supermarket and don't actually leave my home. Also, it's not just me not showering. I pretty much stopped doing anything at all. For example, cleaning my room. Pick related. I'm ready to die at this point, and just waiting for the ride to end.
I don't know if I should be surprised or not. Crustanon has been clear that he's given up, and now even says that he's waiting for him to pass. He also uses the first picture from the original thread here, which causes some confusion on this thread. And we know that it's the same guy, but people on the thread now don't know it. He'll clear it up though.
Yes, this picture is months old though. It's looking much worse now.
After some anons just talk about the situation, someone finally asks him for a story time on how he ended up like this. Crustanon responds to him by saying,
2019, the year I stopped showering, was the year I stopped doing therapy because I did it for years and it wasn't helping. I have been to many different therapists for years due to me living in a teenage psych ward and a therapeutic commune for years after that. I left the teenage psych ward in 2015, when I was 15, because I couldn't handle it anymore, and went into the therapeutic commune for 2 years, until 2017, when they eventually had to kick me out due to my mental health not improving at all, and actually getting worse. Started not leaving my room anymore for 2 months, so they had to kick me out. After that, I moved into my current apartment with my old grandma and started not leaving my home anymore due to depression. But I still had some social connections at that time, so I was still showering and stuff. Eventually, at the end of 2019, I lost all of my connections due to my social anxiety and crippling depression, so I decided to just not leave my house anymore, which then led to me also ignoring my hygiene. After that, it has only been getting worse up until now. The therapeutic commune in 2017 was the last time I had social contacts and friends, so it's been years of me being alone in my room. I can't even function in a society anymore. Also, it all started with me dropping out of school at 12, because that's when my depression started. I'm 21 now, so I've been living this fucked up life for almost 10 years now.
Another anon asks him if he still lives with his grandma. Crustanon just says this.
She thinks it's really bad and says stuff like, "It can't go on like this forever. You have to do something." But she eventually stopped caring at some point, when she realized I'm not gonna change. It's been years like this, after all, and she can only ask so much.
In that same response, Crustanon also responded to another user that asked him if the psych ward made his mental health worse.
I don't think it made it worse, but I didn't have a good time during these years. I was basically forced to live with many other teenagers together when I was a social outcast. That's why I just wanted to leave and live on my own. I didn't really interact much with the other kids. After I left the psych ward / therapeutic commune, my mental health was just as bad as before I entered. I do believe that therapy doesn't help at all if you are too deep down the rabbit hole though. At least that's what it felt like to me. Wasted years with therapy for nothing. At least I tried.
Someone asks him if he has any friends, and he just says that he doesn't. After this, another anon tells Crustanon that if he needs someone to talk to, that they're here, and offer him his throwaway cake. Some also ask if anyone ever comments on his smell, and Crustanon just says that his mom and grandma do. And Crustanon just says that his mom and grandma say that he smells weird sometimes, and that he only uses deodorant when he's about to interact with someone. He also says that his family is the only people who have ever seen him in this state, but they have been dealing with his mental issues all his life, so they don't say much nowadays. And then another user just offers Crustanon some help.
Greetings. I'll keep it in English, so people will understand. I'm living relatively close to you, and if you want, I'll help you fixing your apartment. No questions asked. I've been exactly there and would help you out without judgment. Some anons made a similar post, but I'm well within reach.
Crustanon responds to him with this.
No, I want to be alone. Even if you came here and cleaned all my shit, it wouldn't fix my core problems, and trash would just accumulate again at some point. Thanks for the offer, though.
But then the Anon also offers him to go outside with him.
Well, we could also go outside, to a place devoid of people, and Kanakin afterwards. To get you back on track. I would even visit every 2 weeks or so. I can't emphasize enough on how much life can change over the span of a few weeks, if you stick to it.
Crustanon then responds to someone asking him about his hair, and he responds that it is long, unkept, greasy, hard and crusty. And another Anon responds to him with this:
Hard and crusty? Jesus Christ, lol. In all seriousness, though, I agree with what the other Anons are saying. Make small steps in the right direction. Clean part of your room, take a shower, stuff like that. The beginning is always the hardest, since you're getting the momentum rolling. Once you actually start making the right steps, though, you'll want to keep going. And even though you're just taking one small step a day, in a year or two you'll realize you're in a situation that you couldn't even have dreamed of before.
After this, Crustanon does not respond for a while. But users are telling him to go shower, get help, and that he can get better. While some do encourage him, some do ask him to post pictures of his body, and especially his private parts. The one that stood out to me the most was another Anon saying that it's okay, and that his roommate found the cum floor with a picture of the supposed cum floor. Here it is. Yeah, that's just the thing that stood out to me the most. Besides, Crustanon himself. Also, like I said earlier, people think that Crustanon is lying because of the picture he posted that was used in the previous thread, but he explains it that happened a while ago, and that he's the same person, and he posts this.
Pick related. It's me right now. You can see my dirty, crusty skin on my tummy, so you know I'm not LARPing.
Then Crustanon posts a picture of his crust, saying this.
By the way, I made a close-up picture of my skin, if anyone cares.
Anons on the thread are obviously disgusted, and then Crustanon responds to the person asking for a timestamp with a picture of a timestamp on his cum mountain. Here's the photo. Then he makes another post talking about how he doesn't clean up his cum mountain because he's afraid of insects living in his cum mountain. And yeah, that doesn't make sense to me because he already sleeps next to it. His head is literally next to the cum mountain as he sleeps. So, obviously it's just an excuse for him not to clean up.
Also, one of the reasons why I'm not cleaning this mess is because I'm kind of scared that there might be insects inside it, and I'm extremely scared of insects.
He then responds to someone asking him to see his hair with a picture of his hair.
I have the greasiest, most disgusting fucking hair you can imagine. Pick related.
He answers more questions and responds to them with things he's already mentioned before, like covering the smell with deodorant. And he claims that he sprays Axe to cover it. He also says that he's just waiting to pass. He also claims that he got molested when he was younger, and thinks that that might be a reason as to why he does not shower. They can't touch me down there if it's rotten.
I just put on a head to hide the crusts, and use some Axe body spray to cover the smell. They don't come that often anyways. Not like I care much, since they never were there for me on occasions, even molested me. I think that's another reason why I never really took care of my hygiene. Can't touch me down there if it's rotten. I'm pretty much just waiting for the ride to end, or for someone to get Kinsey's ITT.
Then Crustanon scratches the dead skin layer off of his stomach, posting a picture of it. Someone tells him that it was fungus growing on him, and that it is a serious health risk to his grandmother. He explains how he's going to take care of her if she passes. That's if he doesn't pass away first. Crustanon says this.
I can barely function on my own. I can't help her with anything. Actually, she is the one who keeps buying groceries for me, if I don't feel like ordering online. Also, there's dead skin in, I don't know. Corner of my room is the same place where I had my piss bottles.
He then posts a picture of a hidden piss bottle by his bed. Someone ends up posting a picture of Crustanon's crust on Reddit. I'm just making a mention of it here because, it might get confusing because it was on the same day of this post. But that was another anon showing Reddit what was going on, Someone asks Crustanon to put crust on his food and use it as seasoning. And Crustanon says that he'll put it on apple cake and eat it.
Scrape a little crust onto whatever food you got delivered as seasoning. Should I put it on my apple cake and eat it?
After a while, and other anons posting on the thread, Crustanon finally returns with his concoction and posts a picture of both the creation and in his mouth. Here's the photos. All I can say is that Crustanon is going more bold as the thread goes on. I want to pause here and give another content warning. Crustanon will be posting 2 pictures of his private parts. I obviously won't be showing it in the video, but it is disgusting. Yeah, more anons on the thread ask Crustanon to post his private part. He then posts his private part, both on soft and hard. Anons on the thread wonder why it looks like that and ask him to pull his foreskin back. He explains how he has phimosis, which is when the skin covering the head is too tight and can't be pulled back without it hurting. Someone asks Crustanon if he faps, and he responds with this:
My dick smells so strong that you can smell it throughout my entire room, if you are inside of it. Like I said before, it's like some sort of dead fish. Also, I fap about twice a day.
Then, after a while, with more anons pleading for him to get help, Crustanon posts this:
OP here. See y'all all in 2022, when I went another year without showering, and I make it a new thread. I appreciate the effort, Anon, but I'm a fucking failure and a loser through and through. My life will only get worse. I can't do anything alone anymore.
And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the thread. He did mention that he would come back a year later on his last post, but I tried searching for it and there was never a follow-up like he claimed. I did find people asking for an update, but nothing ever came from those. And I do hope that he got some help after he posted this thread. We don't want him living like Asmongold here, I do want to add this to the video now, because as of late, I say as of late, but like pretty much very late 2024 and pretty much the whole of 2025, there's been a bunch of memes of not getting a job, not showering, staying home, etc. Pretty much what Crustanon is going through here. Yeah, those are obviously jokes, but I guess this is very clearly someone living that reality. I hope he got help. I hope he's doing better now. I hope he was able to take care of his grandma, or still is. Yeah. I hope that didn't sound weird. I didn't mean it in any bad way. That's pretty much it. Sorry it took a while to upload this. I did do a face recording of this. This is my second time recording it, or like a master recording of it. I just didn't like the audio, so I just thought I'd redo it. I do want to make a custom mask for Horror Highway to be able to, not use my full face, but still be able to use my glasses properly and not have the mask muffle my voice. So yeah, I guess that's, next time I do a face video, it'll be with that mask. I already have an idea of what I want it to be looking like. I guess kind of like a skull, but also really inspired by El Desperado from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think his mask is really cool, but I don't want to use a copyrighted mask. I want to make my own, so not get fucked in the future. Let me see what else here. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. If you made it this far, comment hair in the comment section to know you made it this far. I really don't know what else to say here. I hope you like the style of video we're doing, or not really style, but like the effects I added onto the video of me driving my car. Toyota Celica GTS, by the way, if you wanted to know. Yeah.